So this is Nick Walker, y'all. I want to give y'all an update too. It's currently December 7th, but he's doing rear delts. Do you see how he's not going behind his shoulder blades at all? The rear delt is a small piece of muscle, but you need to focus on the contraction. If you ever see anybody going completely behind their shoulders, doing that movement, they are tearing up their scapula. They're tearing up your scapula, but yeah. Hey, so this is the cereal I have been eating. I'm gonna have to flip this so it will look right. This was actually $10 at Costco. I've seen it online and in supplement shops and at like Rouse for 30. That's pretty insane. That's high. So the thing I like about keto marketed items is that they're just particularly low carb and they usually have a high amount of fats. This one does not. Usually the fat to protein ratio is like 1:1. This one is 1:2, which I really appreciate. And it's vegan because a lot of people don't. You can do vegan low carb. You can do vegan keto. It's hard. It's hard, but I think the results are incredible. When I went from like 225 to 208 back in 2019, that's actually how I did it. And it happened kind of fast too, which I don't like doing, but it worked. And I found out how I can do it and how I can keep it going for vegan, low carb, vegan keto. But the difference between low carb and keto, which I really want to emphasize, is when you do keto, you're getting the goal is to get your body in a state of ketosis, which a lot of people forget. It's not about snacking on pork rinds and cheese, crisps all the time. With low carb, you want your carbs to be below 100 grams. And also negative carbs, there's no such thing. That's a marketing technique too. Actually, Quest got sued for that. They got sued for, not the negative carbs, but they got sued for diabetics having their insulin spiked with the claims of their sugar substitute being like a sugar-free, and it was spiking the insulin of diabetes patients. So please keep that in mind when you're being sold this before you're sold this. Does that make sense? So that's why I want people to learn how to read labels. So here's the label, and I'll show you how to read it really quick. And yes, this video is about what I'm on. So this is what I'm on, because I said I was tripping. Because I do a lot of trial and error, but because of my trial and error, because of the amount of money I've spent on supplements, I've spent, since I started lifting, I've probably spent almost 10 grand on supplements and things like that. But I've been lifting for almost 10 years though. So please keep that in mind. And I had 1 year in particular where I spent 5,000, but that's when I was working at GNC. I just want to try everything. So here's a label. If you don't know how to read a label, you always want to go with serving size. Please focus. You always want to go with serving size. Talking to the camera. Serving size times the entire bag. That's how I do it, because that's how I'm a high volume eater. And you saw how big my bowl was. I love eating high volume. I like the idea of my stomach stretching full. I don't know why. I try not to do that, knowing that I'm going to be in a caloric deficit. And I need to get used to feeling hunger and feeling more of an emptiness and lighter feeling. But I'm a high volume eater, so when I bought this, I thought, okay, what if I eat the whole bag in one sitting? Because I have a tendency to eat an entire box in one sitting. I saw Nick Wright do that too, which he retired from YouTube, but this is what I want to eat. Do I have it in my cabinet? Yes. Am I going to eat it someday? Yes. Was it on sale and I got it for $1 a box? Yes. And did you know that they also have a dulce de leche as well as a churro one that just came out? Did I buy all three? Absolutely. If I bought three, I had a coupon. You know how I am about my couponing. And then coupons.com has an app too if you want to use it. I'll put the links for everything in the description. So I got 3 boxes of cereal with the Vons app. Supposed to be $12, $4 a box. I got all of them for, let's see, $2 off if I bought 3 and then 3. So I got them all for like 33 cents a piece, which is dangerous. But yeah, so back to this label. It fits within, usually what I've been doing now is I have my carbs in the morning and I have a low carb, like 0 carb meal at night. It just makes me feel lighter in the morning. And if you want to follow that method, you can. So 110 calories and 11 grams of protein is actually a really good ratio, as well as it does have a good amount of fiber and a very low amount of sugar. And the carbs are only 15 grams per serving. And there are a total of 16 servings in this container, just like if you compare it to Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Now, does it have the texture of Cinnamon Toast Crunch? It is crunchier, and it does not get soggy in milk, which I like. This gets soggy immediately. where this is 170 calories per serving, 210 with milk. This has 8 servings per box and 2 grams of protein. That ain't nothing. 2 grams of protein. And also when something says, oh, now high protein, like the Quaker Oats oatmeal says Quaker Oats now with more protein, the protein's 10 to 8 grams of protein per bag, like little packet. Theoretically, that's not a lot. So, and then carbs on this is 33 per serving. So when being in caloric deficit too, I think people should really remember where the calories are coming from, as well as technically you can eat anything you want and still be in a caloric deficit. I feel like people should find out what kind of eater they are. Like, are they, and every single thing works as far as eating styles. Like I said, I'm a high volume eater. I like to eat huge amount of food in one sitting. Like you saw in my other videos, I was doing the mono meals. I like to hit huge amount of food in what sitting, and I have a habit, and this is due to capitalism and also being overworked and getting short breaks. I eat really, really fast, which I'm trying to slow down with now that I'm self-employed. So yeah, that's what I do. That's what I eat, and that's how I eat it. This took up a long period of time, but I try to be as informative as possible. Remember, everything that I mentioned, I'm gonna have a link in the description box below for the apps, for the products I'm gonna talk about, and also for the programs you could be part of too. So let's get to the supplements. Okay, this is what I'm on a regular basis. Like, this is what I'm on. I usually wake up in the morning. That's what you're supposed to do. I usually wake up. Sometimes I'll just have like the cafecito, the Folgers, which is not the best coffee, but the Starbucks instant coffee is very expensive. I do not have an espresso. If you want, black coffee does, I'm talking about black. Black coffee does have elements that help with being just a straight up fat burner. That's mostly because the caffeine, and also green coffee bean, which is actually how all coffee starts, as green beans, is in a lot of different fat burners. So you can have black coffee, which I've done sometimes. I don't like doing it because I feel like it tears up my stomach, but I'll do it sometimes, especially if I want to be super fasted before I do cardio. And I still heavily rely on that cardio bike I showed y'all before in another video, and I'll also put the link of that in my description box. So what the hell am I on? I feel like everything. But also, when you look at a lot of professional bodybuilders, I will say this: I'm not a professional bodybuilder. I'm not even a bodybuilder. I'm a weight trainer. I've been weight training for a long time, for 8 years to be exact. That's almost 10 years. I do bodybuilder things. I'm a big fan of a lot of them. I'll do a video on my favorite influences. And I want to say that I'm not so much of an influencer as I am an educator. So I'm an educator. I'm not an influencer. What I'm on, I'll start with either the Folgers instant coffee. I was doing the Starbucks instant coffee, but the coupons ran out. They usually run coupons, so I was getting them for about $3 a can. And on average, Starbucks instant coffee is about $10 a can, so I'm not doing that anymore. I'm back on Folgers, or I go to Kirkland. And I do want to say also, I only get my supplements from 3 places. That is CVS, GNC, and I'll buy it directly from the manufacturer if they have like a promo going on. Usually they have like a sampler promo. That's how I got this shirt. You usually get a shirt, a shaker, and 5 samples for $10, which is really, really good price. Steel actually has the best package I've ever seen, and they still have a really good one. I'll put their link in the description box too, and I'll also tag them. But their pre-workouts are not for beginners. I'll tell you that. But if you're plateauing with your pre-workout, I highly suggest Steel. And where else do I get my supplements? I'll go to Sprouts and Amazon for the herbs and everything. I don't really get I don't like getting mailed supplements because of the tampering, also because of the weather conditions. I live in California, and especially if you're getting probiotics or powders, they can come up clumpy and rancid, which it's a risk I don't want to take. I've seen a lot, when I worked at Whole Foods, I saw a lot of shipments actually destroyed and things with broken glass in them. And it's just something that it's in the back of my mind. There's a third place, and I can't think of where I usually get them from, but I usually go to GNC and CVS a lot, but because I can compound coupons. I'm big at compounding coupons. If you haven't been watching my other videos, I'm really big at compounding coupons. So this is what I take on a regular basis. Regular mean weekly, and also daily what I take. And oh, Costco, that's the third place. Costco is a great place for beginners in buying supplements. They have everything from electrolytes to amino acids. They usually have On Nutrition. You can get the big sack of protein, especially if you're just trying to add more protein or even gain weight. They used to carry the mass gainer and they stopped. They only keep what's popular. That's what I like about Costco. They only keep what's popular. So you're not going to see crazy, unique things, random things all over the place, but they only keep what's popular, which I really appreciate. And I've gotten energy drinks, I've gotten fat burners, I've gotten shakes at Costco for really, really good prices. They have the ones for diabetics as well as people that just need a protein shake. And they usually have a lot of Premier protein drinks too. I'm not the biggest fan of Premier protein. They do work, but their protein source is not my favorite. So I just spit all over the place. But that means I'm excited if I'm spitting and drooling. So this is what I take on a regular basis, and I'm gonna go in order of when I wake up and all throughout my day. So in the morning, I usually do, like I said, a coffee, an instant coffee, 1 cup of black coffee. Sometimes I overdo it. Be careful with the instant. Or I'll do a Celsius. I've been drinking this since they first came out, and they used to have ginger in it. They don't anymore, but they do have a really clean, in my opinion, when I say clean, a safe blend of stimulants. All stimulants are not sourced from the same place, and their flavors are good, and also they're affordable. I got this for $1.50 from Ralph's. Ralph's carries it now. This is a new flavor, pomegranate. I'm really excited about this one. And also my favorite physique competitor is sponsored by them, and I actually have stock in the company. If you want to check out their ticker symbol, here it is. It's not a signal to buy, but I've been doing really well with that. So shout out to Brandon Hendrickson for taking the crown for the 3rd year in a row, I think. But he's sponsored by them too. They've been pretty generous with their pricing. They have not spiked up their prices since they got more popular, and it's actually really, really good. I like these. I drink these in the morning and sometimes for a workout. And also when I drink these at night, I can still go to sleep. But by the way, my tolerance for caffeine is about 600 milligrams a day. So if you're sensitive to caffeine, I would say drink half of one of these and put a cap on it. And they make soda caps and use it for another day. So what I do next is the cereal I just had, I just showed you, I actually use this as milk instead of actual milk. I use the plant-based one because it's thinner. It's thinner and it covers cereal better. It does taste like a protein shake, though, I want to tell you, but I'm eating for purpose rather than flavor. And when I'm on a diet or a deficit, I eat more for texture and volume just to satisfy those little parts of my brain that think that I'm getting the things that I really, really want, because I want to eat a whole Domino's pizza. And by the way, Domino's gives out so many coupons when it comes to pizza. So this is only 170 grams. I mean, it's 170 grams. It's 170 calories, and they have a really good deal at GNC. Usually you can get a buy one, get one free on these. When you buy them by the case. So a case is, or buy one, get one half off. They have a plant-based variety. They also have a Girl Scout cookie variety, which is dairy, but their green ones only come in vanilla and chocolate. But this is a great replacement, in my opinion, to get a high protein bowl of cereal. And I usually have this for breakfast. And does it keep me full? Theoretically, yes. I think because the satiety is coming from the high amount of fiber. There's more fiber in the plant-based one. But am I going to eat again? Absolutely. And can you have one of these while you're eating? Yes, especially if you're trying to gain weight or gain size with muscle and bulking. Just add it, bro. Okay, so this has actually been my favorite fat burner. When I first started my weight loss journey this year, back right after my birthday in March, I started off with the Hydroxy Cut gummies. I will tell you why. So I used to be in contact. I tried to work for Muscle Tech. It didn't work out. I don't know what they were looking for, and they weren't 100% clear with me what they were looking for, which I don't like when companies do that. Just tell me. Oh, because they're afraid to tell you. I've been taking Natrol for a while, especially their 5-HTP. So I saw that they had an acai berry diet. Their line is actually really, it's quality. It is so good. It's also held in Whole Foods. Whole Foods has certain standards with the products that they hold anyways, even when they were bought by Amazon. But I really like this because how mild it is. One capsule is only 50 milligrams from a green tea, green coffee bean. No, just green tea. And it has digestive enzymes in it, so this is great after a meal. I do not suggest using this if you're trying to wake up. It's a very subtle, slow onset kind of stimulant. It is not high stim at all. One capsule, like I said, is only 50 milligrams, but also it has the Chromax chromium in it. If you guys are not familiar with chromium, chromium is actually an element. You can find it on the periodic table of elements that helps with, it's great. I used to suggest it when I worked at a GNC for anybody that was pre-diabetic or diabetic. It helps with insulin and also processing sugars. So this does have Chromax in it. If you are allergic to chromium or certain metals, please do not take this. But this is what I've been rocking with this entire time. I have had 3 bottles of this in total because I don't take this all the time every day. But I do take it when I remember. I'm probably going to take some right now. I'm going to take one right now because I just had that sugary cereal. Not sugary, but... and also I took the reflux too. So the reflux is, some of these pills are absolutely disgusting. And then when you take them, you could taste it after you took it. Always with the club soda. I have club soda almost every day when I could afford it. I had an Amazon gift card, so I was able to order 2 packs of this, and this burns like Sprite. Always with club soda. And by the way, it is true. If you cut soda completely out of your life, don't go switching to diet either. That's not the same. That stuff is actually horrible for you. It's so carcinogenic. You can lose 10 pounds without doing anything if you cut out soda. So next would be the Super Cinnamon and Chromium. I got this from CVS because it was on clearance, okay? It was on clearance. Now, do I take this every day? Absolutely not. And this also has biotin in it for some reason, which I do not suggest to people, especially when it comes to hair, skin, and nail stuff. Biotin is a B vitamin. Too much of a B vitamin in your system will be excreted immediately through the process of urination. So all this biotin, hair, skin, and nail, I saw that it blew up. It was on trend. What about 6 years ago now? Everybody was going goo gaga for it. Not necessary, especially with people with more melanin in their skin. I heard that can be actually really problematic. So we're not going to talk about that so much. I just like this because of the chromium. And there's usually 2 different types of chromium. This has chromium piclinate, and also this one has chromium piclinate as well. I'm not going to be combining these because it's already in this, but also cinnamon by itself, because that's mostly what I got it. It's 1.5 milligrams of cinnamon, which is a really great dosage. You can get cinnamon capsules by itself at GNC, isolated. I highly suggest people get into isolated individual herbs and metals and supplements. You don't have to buy blends because these blends lie. I do not buy anything that doesn't have a full disclosure on the back of it. By the way, I've been doing this for years. I've been buying and studying and trying for 6 years. So that's where my experience comes from. I do not have a credential whatsoever in any of this. I want to disclose that too. So that's a really, really good influence on circulation. Usually, I also suggest this to diabetic patients too. If you know anybody that is suffering or struggling with diabetes, just have them look into an omega fat. It can be a fish oil, but I prefer to tell people to take flax oil, which I do have in my fridge, by the way. I take omegas, like a tablespoon, maybe about twice a week, because you don't need that much. And also the omegas, I'll go get it. Give me 1 second. There I am. So this is a flax oil. I am very comfortable with taking. It's organic. I prefer it's organic. I suggest people that are suffering or possibly struggling with diabetes, even if you're overweight. I was once pre-diabetic, but that's because my alcohol consumption was super high. By the way, alcohol metabolizes as sugar. So all the calories you see in alcohol, you're like, why are there so much calories in this beer and alcohol? It's because it metabolizes into sugar. So I usually suggest they look into omega oil, they look into a chromium, and they look into definitely vitamin D and also alpha lipoic acid that helps with cellular strength and buildup, because diabetic people suffer from a lot of degradation. They can lose limbs over their diabetes, and they can suffer from gangrene, which is really extreme form of out of control diabetes, and cinnamon, and if things get really, really bad with their circulation, horse chestnut. So that's my suggestion. So this is amazing though. We can get into this flax oil that I take once a week really quick because I have it in my hand. You do want to refrigerate this. Also, a month's supply is about anywhere from $8 to $16 depending on the size. I think fish oil is a whole lie in a sense that it is oversold, it is overmarketed, it is overmanipulated, and then you do get the fishy reflux. And some companies, like Carlson's, is actually really good and it's refined, and you want to buy a fish oil that has gone through some type of purity process and a certification, third-party purity process. But just fish oil alone is absolutely disgusting. I grew up on cod liver oil. I liked it as a kid. I didn't like the taste, but I liked how it was told, just like how we were chugging milk, how it's good for our bones. So I thought it would make me feel better. So I hated it, but I liked it eventually. But fishy reflux is actually a really bad thing, as well as the purity of the fish you're getting. And also, there's a limitation to the omegas that you're buying, and a month's supply can be up to $60 of high quality fish oil, just the capsules. This, you could take a tablespoon, maybe once or twice a week. This is 2 times a day. I think that's way too much, because one tablespoon is how much fat? 14 grams of fat. So it's not even so much as the high fat, it's just that I just think that people don't understand that, or don't really need that much fat in one sitting, should be taking that much. But the omegas in this is actually amazing. You also get ALA, as well as omegas, I think 3 and 6. And also, if your plant basis is perfect, or you can get algae. You could do an algae omega, which is actually really good. So this is also very inexpensive. I have 2 bottles of this that I've been sipping on. You can actually have it first thing in the morning. Also, if you like bulletproof coffees, you can do this as well. You don't necessarily need to buy the bulletproof oil, because also the thing about MCTs too is MCTs are medium chain triglycerides, which come from palm or coconut. Some people are allergic to that, as well as if your body's not used to the enzymes, you will have straight up diarrhea for the day. And it's not like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. It's, oh, call out of work because there's a chainsaw going off in your lower abdomen. So, like I said, it's all about marketing and people being pushed into certain things. So I'm an educator, not an influencer. So we're done with that. Okay. So that's the fat burner right here. And also the coffee can work at a fat burner. This says to have a fat burner too, but it's green tea. And also when there's green tea in something, you want to make sure that it's at least 70 EGCG for it to be super potent. And I'll check these later. But another thing is B12 is supposed to help with metabolizing food. You don't need to take too much B12. The reason why vegans have to take B12 and vitamin D is because as a meat eater, it is already pumped into the animal. Cows don't naturally contain B12. It's because it's pumped into the animal, okay? And then I take a once a day multivitamin. Always take things with food. Always take things with food. And occasionally I do take maca root. This is a maca root complex, which has caffeine in it. I do not suggest this for beginners. Maca root is great for muscular development and retention, as well as this has ZMA in it. And I think all my bros know what ZMA is. So this has ZMA in it. This is from GNC. This is a complex. You just want to get pure ZMA-free maca root if you are interested in that. Now, another thing that actually helps with weight loss that a lot of people don't talk about, because it's all about fat burners, is my favorite, acetyl L-carnitine. Country Life is actually a great brand. They have it at Sprouts. This I got on sale because L-carnitine at this size, which is 120 capsules, can easily be $30. I got it for $7, so I bought 2. It took me about 4 months to get through these because I don't take them all the time. Actually, L-carnitine is usually marketed to people doing cardio. I heard it's really big in Russia, and they usually take about 6 grams in one go. 6 milligrams in one go, which I don't do. Actually, I'm gonna take one of these now. So it helps with turning your fat into energy, as well as this has B6 in it, which is actually a great vitamin for positive mood. It is winter time in here, so if you're struggling or suffering with SAD, I suggest a full B complex, B1 through 12. Along with vitamin D, just to get yourself started. So the thing about L-carnitine is a lot of people promote it as a weight loss, quick fat loss resolution, also to be used right before fasted cardio. I was one of those people and I was convinced, but then I did a little more research on it and I listened to a couple more names about it. I can't remember his name. He's actually really good with the science and he developed his own brand. L-carnitine works best when attached to a carb source. I think it's another thing that people don't really talk about when they're selling you stuff. There's a lot more salesmen than scientists. So I always take this after having a carb. Speaking of actually having after a carb, which I just dropped something on the floor, is probiotics. So probiotics is another thing that I saw crazy on trend. This is actually one of my favorite brands, Garden of Life. They were just bought by Nestle. Garden of Life is actually one of my favorite brands, and this is the doctor's formula, and it does not have to be refrigerated. Now, there's different types of probiotics, but what probiotics don't contain most of the time is prebiotics. So excess probiotics, your body that doesn't absorb, you're just kind of wasting your money and getting rid of through the process of either urination or poop. And we don't want to do that. So This one has prebiotic fiber in it, which is another reason I like it. And it also is shelf stable. And usually a prebiotic fiber can be something like oatmeal. So after having oatmeal, you can do a dry oatmeal too. You could just do a scoop of dry oatmeal right into your mouth if you want to. Please don't choke. And prebiotic fiber, you can also do acacia fiber. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. And then take your prebiotic, your probiotic, so that way it can attach to the prebiotic and be absorbed correctly. So this is 50 billion, and it's actually the women's formula. I think this is the formula for anybody with the vagina. I'm tired of things being marketed based on gender. This is for anybody with a vagina. Okay? So, no refrigeration required, prebiotic fiber with the probiotic, okay? And you do not need to take 50 billion every single day. I probably do this maybe 3-4 times a month. And then also this helps with healthy bacteria in my system, to not be confused with like an antibiotic. Actually, you're supposed to take probiotics right after taking an antibiotic, because the antibiotic strips everything in your system. And this is expensive. This is for sure expensive. So I knew what I'm getting into in these, and I don't take them very often. Speaking of something that I don't take very often, but it also helps me as the woman, is whenever I'm feeling horribly bloated, you can also do maca root. I heard coconut oil works for bloating too, which it does. I do coconut oil capsules, and then I do Water X. So you're gonna start to see a theme here where I literally only get things that I see in those 3 stores because of the value in the product. And GNC has a horrible reputation for being trash. I don't know why. I think it's because people try to sell things to you and they don't know what they're talking about. But I was that person that geeked out on everything. And I was in GNC magazine twice. If anybody cares. I don't even know if I still have that magazine. I might have it lying somewhere. But this is Water X. Water X is a great diuretic. Diuretic means it gets excess water out of the body. This is great if you're PMSing, for those that have periods. And also, it has very, very gentle ingredients in it that are from, full disclosure, with a nice amount of, it has electrolytes in it. It has magnesium, potassium, and then they have the blend, which is supposed to help with water, and this does help me. Not for excessive bloating, but I know what I'm excessive bloating because I've been eating Takis for 3 days and Taco Bell. But this is when I have that onset bloating that I can't do anything about, that just makes me feel like I'm just a walking bowling ball. It also has uva ursi and garlic in it. Uva ursi is shown to help with kidney stones. Just saying. And then also it has horsetail in it, which is said to help with hair as well as water retention. And then it also has hydrangea, and it has a 3-to-1 ratio of elderberry fruit powders. I don't know why the elderberry's in here, but highly recommend Water X if you're exploring, because the diuretics, especially the ones that you see in like Walmart and Ralph's, are just chemical. There's some minerals in there and stuff, but I was reading it the other day because the Durex was on sale. Usually the Durex is next to the cranberry pills, if you haven't noticed. It is next to the Midol, if you haven't noticed. Those 3 things are usually on the same shelf. It's because, you buy all 3 at once and you get the desired result. And it might be next to the Excedrin, but there's caffeine in Excedrin, and that helps with migraines. And there's also caffeine in the Midol. So if you feel better, it's mostly because of the caffeine, which you could do with a cup of black coffee. But if you're having bloating, they don't say, oh, buy coconut oil and this. And if you can't afford this, then you could do dandelion root. Dandelion root capsules, perfectly fine. Should be about $8 at Whole Foods, okay? So now we're on the last 2 parts, which help with my relaxation and also help with my dieting, because dieting and being in a long-term caloric deficit could be very stressful. So I use L-theanine, which I talk about a lot, this is 200 milligrams for, you get 60. I do not take this every day. I take it when I'm super stressed out. Or my CNS is fried, meaning that my nerves are up because I've had way too much caffeine in one sitting. And I take this to help relax. It's actually the relaxing element found in green tea. Done. This is something I found at Costco, which I'm so glad they finally have. I'm not a big fan of time relief because I like everything to hit me at once. But with this amount of 5-HTP, time relief is actually ideal. You could take this during bed or during the daytime. Some people, it does make them sleepy, so please keep that in mind. This can help with appetite control. There was actually a study done where women that were overweight, particularly about 20-30 pounds, were given a certain amount of 5-HTP, some blind, some placebo, and not that people weren't blind, but like blind studies, meaning that, yeah. And they saw good results with curbing appetite. So I get really stressed out when I'm in a deficit and I'm doing like a 3,000 calorie day of movement because I keep my Fitbit with me, and this helps a lot. Okay, and another thing that helps a lot, which a lot of people don't do, which I am one of those people, I'm not always on it, is hydration. This is at Costco as well. These are usually $3 a piece. This is Liquid IV. This is one of the best natural sourced, for what it's worth, electrolyte company sources I've ever seen. They're $1 a piece at Costco. Do you need to take this every day? Absolutely not. Does this help with making water taste better? Yes. And also their cause is to help bring clean water to areas that don't clean water all over the world. So if you want to feel better about yourself, you can buy this. And they have 3 different versions. They have a sleep version, they have strawberry, they have an immunity version, and they also have an energy version if you want to wake up to that too, and you're actually sensitive to caffeine. Costco, 30 of them, 29 bucks. Bam. And then of course I take a pre-workout. I don't have it with me because I left it at my parents' house. I usually take the Ghost pre-workout and I stack it with the pump. This is just a pump agent. It's expensive. If you lift, I highly suggest it. This is the piña flavor. I love pineapple flavor pre-workouts. I just finished my tub of Amino Energy. So I get accustomed to just using the same things. And did you know when you take pre-workout, you're supposed to cycle off 2 weeks without it? So if you feel like it doesn't work anymore, it's because you're overworking it. So yeah, that's 20 minutes of what I'm on and what I'm taking. And that's the end of the video. So thank you for following me. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and share if you can and if you care to do so. And I anticipate bringing another video to y'all. And if you have any questions about anything that I mentioned as far as supplement goes and anything about the training or the healthy wage, thing that I'm on, which I have to be 197 in 20 days, and I'm currently 219, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer your questions. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.